Hi, I'm John Cadillac Seville, and welcome to GCTV. And boy, do we have a great show for you lined up tonight. I would introduce my good friend here, Sean Canera. And Sean, I'm going to let you have the honors of introducing our esteemed guest.
Okay. Guilford Community Fund is very happy to support the Orchard House Medical Daycare Center in Brantford, an agency that we support each year financially, and also wanted to take some time tonight and give them the opportunity to come before the viewing public and talk a little bit about what they do. The woman I have here is Ellen Carucci. She is the Director of Development for the Orchard House Medical Daycare Center, and we're pleased to have her with us.
And it's great, Ellen. We met outside, and we were saying we never really formally met. We've seen each other at a couple of events in the past, but I really appreciate what you do and all you do. So for folks who are really not sure about exactly what you do, if you can maybe take a little time and give us some general info, a little background about what you do.
Yeah, but before I jump into that, I just want to say thank you to the Guilford Community Fund because we could not do our work without supporters like you. As a small nonprofit, we're heavily reliant on the generosity of the community, local governments, and individual donors. So thank you for keeping our doors open.
And in this day and age, it's not easy for nonprofits, is it?
It's not easy, and there's a lot of competition for funding. But Orchard House has been serving seniors in the community since 1981, and our primary mission is to enhance the quality of life of older adults, but also their caregivers. And our goal is to have people age at home as independently as possible for as long as possible, because older adults, given the choice, would much prefer to age at home.
Sure.
So Orchard House has put together a comprehensive list of activities that can enable people to live at home. So we have therapeutic activities, we have medical supervision, we've got meals, we've got transportation, a full complement of comprehensive care planning that address the individual needs of our members. And we call them members, we don't call them clients.
I like family.
Feels more, yeah, and there's a sense of belonging, and I think one of the wonderful things about Orchard House is everything that we do is designed to foster friendships and promote independence.
I did visit it, a couple of years ago, and I've done a
before my
couple of fundraisers, before you had gotten there. And what really got to my attention was everybody seemed so happy. Everybody seemed to be really upbeat from the help, but also the members, the family there, and that said a lot about the community, the environment.
Yeah, I mean, it's a wonderful thing. The social engagement portion of what we do is probably one of the most important things. The medical supervision, I think, is a close second, because having hands-on, active nursing oversight, these are people who are frail. I mean, Alzheimer's is a disease, I would say. 3/4 of our members live with Alzheimer's or other dementia-related illnesses, but there's other physical disabilities as well. We're seeing more Parkinson's cases and more cognitive impairments. So, but the staff at Orchard House is phenomenal. We've got fantastic nursing, great certified nursing assistants. We've got a recreation staff. We've got trained van drivers, because we also provide transportation as part of our.
God, it's almost like a one-stop.
It is a one-stop, and
really
it's funny
That's
because
amazing.
I mean, Ted Kennedy is one of our biggest boosters. He says, I don't know why there's not more Orchard Houses in every community. We have 6 handicap accessible vans, so we pick up and deliver our members daily, and that's part of our service. So a little bit about our stats. We're in the Short Beach section of Brantford. We're open from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Saturday, and we serve our members a light breakfast and a USDA-approved hot lunch.
Right.
And for some of our members, that might be the only hot meal they get that day or even that week, depending on how often they come. I would say that more than 50% of our members live at or below the poverty level, so they need financial assistance to attend.
Now, where do you get your referrals? I mean, how do people
A
find
lot,
out about your place? I mean, aside of what we're doing right now.
Yeah, I mean, some of it's primary care physicians, some of it's the Adlick Geriatric Clinic in New Haven, affiliated with Yale New Haven Health. We get a lot of referrals from the VNA. We get a lot of referrals from the VA as well. We have a lot of programs for veterans. And then the Agency on Aging for South Central Connecticut is also a big source of referrals. And then Yale New Haven Discharge could be a source of referrals for us. And actually, even some of the home care agencies, there's a very nice collaboration of senior caregivers in our shoreline community. So we all look out for one another. We have a lot
Sure.
of networking events that we do. So
I was just going to ask you about that. What do you do to get the word out? Do you do a lot of the basically, from the ground up type stuff? Networking
ground up
events?
type stuff, and we find that Facebook, and we're dipping our toe in
Hey,
Instagram.
social
We're
media is
saying-
the way to go now.
Right, yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
for people to see, for family to see the engagement of like what happens at Orchard House, we have an intergenerational program right now. We have the Branford Tisco School sends their fourth graders once a week. The classes rotate, and it's a riot. I mean, we had Mrs. Bud's class come in last week, and they
You gotta love it, Mrs. Butts.
Mrs. Bud's, it's B-U-T-Z too. It's like Mrs. Bud's class came in and they helped us with word puzzles, and then they serenaded us with Christmas carols. So
Nice.
to see the look of the seniors when these fourth graders come in, and it's just darling. It's great for our members, and it's also great for the kids too to bond with older adults.
Well, it keeps them young too, and at the same
Sure.
time, the younger kids learn a lot, from
Yeah.
from the more mature folks, and vice versa. And it just, again, kind of breeds that spirit of community,
Yeah.
which is great, and it's so helpful for both.
Right.
For both. So a little bit more about what you do. I mean, what are some of the things you may provide that maybe the average everyday person doesn't even think about?
Well, I think the meals and the transportation are key. The nursing supervisor is very important because, as I mentioned, these are frail, older adults, and in a urinary tract infection or a cold for us is maybe
Just handle
not
it.
that important, but for an older adult, that can send them into the hospital
The immune
in
system.
no time.
Totally
Yeah,
different.
so the fact that we've got constant nursing oversight and we coordinate with their primary care physician, so we can note changes in mobility, changes in emotional well-being, and we can catch what the early signs of a UTI is, and it avoids costly hospitalizations. We want to keep people out of hospitals.
A little bit about you and your background. I mean, why did you decide to do this? I mean, I'm always curious about. I always admire what you're able to do, but I'm also a little bit curious about why, where
This
you
is-
came
this
from,
is- this is
like
for-
the Reader's Digest version.
Yeah, the Reader's Digest. Well, first of all, I've been a member of the Short Beach community for over 20 years, but part-time.
Right.
My career was in magazine publishing in New York. And I always knew that my second act was going to be working with seniors. And my dad had Alzheimer's. He passed away in 2007.
Yeah, my wife's mom, same thing.
And while my dad never came to Orchard House, my mom went to the caregiver support groups there, and she got a lot of comfort from that. And one thing we haven't talked about yet is the caregiver support, and I think that's a very integral part of the Orchard House mission. Caregiving is exhausting. I mean, it's physically, emotionally, and financially draining. And it's hard because not only are caregivers seeing their loved one decline, but now all of a sudden their loved one can no longer dress themselves or brush their own teeth or shave or even shower. So the caregiver is spending inordinate amount of time getting their loved one with Alzheimer's or dementia ready, and it's very grueling.
Well, they're also the ones in the line of fire in a sense, because
Yes.
when you feel like you're losing your independence or your dignity, and you can lash out, and it's not personal, right? And I mean, I find sometimes if I'm having a bad day, and then all of a sudden I may lash out at a loved one, not in a big way, but still.
Because they're
we do that,
there.
right? We
They're-
do that
they're
'cause
the one there,
They're
yeah.
But it's even more, it's magnified even more in the case of the caregiver, I would think.
Well, it's funny, we have some family caregivers come that not everyone takes advantage of the round trip transportation. Some people want a shorter day, so they'll have somebody drop them off,
Right,
pick
okay.
them up, and we'll say, oh my gosh, she's so lovely, we love her, she's so, we're like, oh my God, she's a terror at home. But it's just something about, it's something about being with a non-family member who's not
Right.
nagging, like, brush your teeth, dress, here it's
Right.
like at Orchard House, it's like, we have fun, we laugh a lot.
Right.
Our aim is to spark moments of joy, and we get to see these like mission moments where, a lot of our members can't quite carry on a coherent conversation with one another. Some of them are articulate and can, but they have this uncanny ability to sense upset and agitation, and to watch them address it. Like we have one member right now who's very agitated, and he wanders, and they're like, it's okay, we're your friends.
Right.
You're in the right place, you're with us. And it's precious to watch.
And what you did illustrated that point, Sean, and in a second with that too, is the touch.
Oh,
The
Right.
human touch is so important because whenever you touch, you get their attention right away, you look them in the eye, and everybody ultimately just wants to be appreciated.
Right.
They want to feel like there's some dignity there. And to do that, the bedside manner of your caregivers must be amazing.
Yeah, the dignity is amazing, and we do enable everyone to do what they want to do. Orchard House, it's probably a while since you've been there, Sean. I'm not sure if you've ever been there, but
About 3 or 4 years, I think.
it used to be the Short Beach School, and probably some of our members may have actually attended school there, which may be a little bit confusing to them. But we've got 3 bright, spacious rooms, and it's all handicap accessible. We have a library, we have a main programming room, and we also have a sunroom. So there's always different, we don't ask everyone to participate in expressive art therapy at the same time. There's a billiards table in the library.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
So if our guys want to go play billiards or the women want to go play billiards, there's a lot of different choices for people to do.
Now, Sean, you had a question before I rudely interrupted you.
No, I was just going to reiterate with what Ellen said. It's just knowing somebody's there with you. Even if you can't communicate clearly with each other, you know you're not alone. You know that there's somebody else is around you.
You're right.
And that's just a good feeling.
That's the fear people have, that feeling of being alone. And when you can just look somebody and say, listen, you're not alone.
Right.
And I really admire that you're able to do that for these people.
Well, and I wish that more people could attend someplace like Orchard House, because one of the things that everybody who works in elder care is so concerned about is the epidemic of loneliness that's facing our seniors. And that's not just a local thing, it's a national thing, it's even a global thing. I mean, they were so concerned about it in the United Kingdom that they appointed a minister of loneliness.
Really?
Huh.
And they have these 800 numbers, or their equivalent in the UK, of numbers that elder people who may not have had a conversation with anyone in a week can call and just have a friendly conversation. And closer to home, I mean, the senior population is growing. I mean, Guilford's population is projected to stay relatively stable until 2025. But the adults who are 65 or older, that's going to grow 45%.
And Connecticut's one of the older states, too.
Right.
Yeah.
Correct.
So right now there's 943,000 Guilford seniors age 65 plus. 21% of them live alone.
Wow.
So you think about that, as their friends die off, their families move away, these people have someone to talk to every day.
And everything's magnified, especially now over the holidays.
Right.
This time of year. And
Yes,
when you
this
have
can be a
little bit,
very stressful
a little
time.
bit more darkness, people have a tendency to get a little bit more down if there's not as much sunlight, and that just adds to the challenge.
And it's not just psychological. Loneliness can be fatal. I mean, it is called the silent killer, and there's been a lot of research shown that social isolation is as dangerous and can abbreviate your lifespan as much as smoking and high blood pressure.
Wow.
Wow.
So
I believe it. I
it's
believe because
serious.
humans we're social. We're born to travel in packs per se. When you go back to doing it,
Right.
we're not meant to be alone. So somebody's watching in right now from their living room, and they want to be able to help. And they're thinking, in honor of somebody in my family, or like in my family where my mother-in-law passed away due to Alzheimer's, what can people do to reach out? Is there somewhere they can,
Yes, we have a website. There's a
Okay.
donation button on the website. You can also learn from it's www.theorchardhouse.org.
That's easy enough to remember.
And we also have a good Facebook presence. It's a lot of fun pictures, a lot of kids, a lot of dancing. I hope we have a minute to talk about music therapy because it's so powerful.
Yeah, we'll make the time. You bet we will.
For us, but it's at Orchard House Brantford is our Facebook, and then Instagram is not so robust yet, but we're working on it, and that's Orchard_House_Connecticut.
Right. So we're not doing the Snapchat yet.
No Snapchat.
But I tell you, it's amazing how many seniors, like my mom, 86 years young, and she finally got into Facebook, and she loves it because it allows her to feel like, because she's has a hard time getting out of her chair and is not able to get out of the house, and there could be that loneliness, but at least Facebook connects her to the world.
Connects, that's correct.
Yeah.
It's not the same thing as having somebody next to you touching you and saying hello, but at least it's something.
Well, Facebook is almost like the senior cam for the adult children of our members.
The children have moved on to other things.
Well,
in a lot of cases.
no, but when I post something with the Tisco kids from last week, I get all these response from, oh, I love my mom. I love seeing my mom, Mary Lou, have a good time. And, oh, your mom looks great. So there'll be like a whole build on comments. So it's really fun. People get a kick out of seeing what's going on at Orchard House.
By the way, in case you're just tuning in, we're talking to Ellen right now from the Orchard House Medical Day Center. And Ellen, you're going to talk a little bit about music therapy. And of course, you know, being in the music biz like I am, this has really got my interest.
I think music therapy is the most powerful tool for adults with memory loss. There's been all kinds of research that shows that the part of the brain that appreciates music, understands music, connects with music, that's the last part that goes. And we have members who don't remember their children's names, could not tell you what they had for breakfast. You play a Frank Sinatra song from their youth, they know every word, every word.
I bet. I believe it.
And the other thing about music is it's not just the listening, but studies have shown that cognition improves immediately after singing. So our music therapy is very important right now. We have outside entertainers come at least once a week, and they could be acoustic Kevin, it could be, we had John Paolillo
Oh, sure.
in
You know
a
John
couple
well.
of weeks
Love-
ago.
love
Oh
him.
my gosh,
Love John.
the best Facebook post we had, he had them line dancing. I was pushing a little bit too, but I mean, he had them line dancing. I mean, it was just a wonderful, wonderful moment. So we find that music therapy is just, it brings them back. First of all, it helps unlock memories. And it also brings them back to who they were in their youth. It's a way for them to capture the people that they used to be.
And even with all of us, when you hear a certain song when you were growing up from junior high school, how it brings you back and makes you smile.
Yeah.
And you know that I know Bob Hartman here, you know, he's part of the Rotary Club. And every single year I get a chance to DJ the Senior Citizens Holiday Luncheon at the Guilford Park and Rec. And it's funny, it's not funny, but there was a lady there who has dementia. And it's getting pretty severe, but she knew every single Christmas song, and she was singing to every song loudly. And she, like her husband said before, she's starting to kind of forget who I am and some of the people in the family, to your point, but knew every single word, every song.
So it's so powerful. I don't know if you remember, or there was a documentary that came out about 5 years ago called Alive Inside. And while you may not have seen it, there was a clip about an elderly African-American man called Henry. And he was in a nursing home, and he did not recognize his daughter, and he has his head over he was wheelchair bound, and in a tray, leaning over a tray. And a social worker had asked his daughter about the music that he listened to in his youth. So they put an M3P player, thank you, hard for me to say, with Count Basie. And after a couple of minutes, he's picking his head up, he's starting to sing, and no one had heard this man utter a word. And it literally went viral on YouTube, and it's a great snapshot. It would take like 4 minutes to look at, but the power of music is just, as you know, is extraordinary.
It is. That connection is incredible. It just brings people together.
Yeah.
To do that.
Yeah.
Now, we're getting toward the end of our segment right now, but is there anything that we haven't talked about yet that you would like to chat and get the word out?
Well, I think I would just like to mention that we're going to be doing our annual comedy fundraiser. It's not till next October, so it may be a little bit premature for that. We just wrapped up our 2018 version, which was October 25th, and it was at Bill Miller's Castle.
I love that place.
And it's called Laughter is the Best Medicine, Stand Up Against Alzheimer's. We may call it Stand Up Against Dementia, just to throw the net open a little wider. But that's become our signature event. So we have a fantastic buffet. We have 3 hilarious comedians. And the community, our retail partners, were very generous with silent auction donations. So, you know, ticket sales are a big part of it, but I think the corporate sponsorships are a big part. Guilford Savings Bank was
Guilford Savings Bank is always there.
Everything.
They were one of
Everything.
our, they were one of our key sponsors. So, so I'll be sending out a save the date on that.
But Ellen, this has been a blast.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so
Come
much.
visit again.
Yeah, well, like I said before, maybe we ought to talk and do a couple things together again, because I have done a couple, fundraisers for you in the past.
Yeah, you were the MC for the
Couple
comedy
times.
event before I started, so we've got to bring you
And
back.
then they tried to bring me back, and I was booked or something. But let's make it happen.
Well, I'm not gonna secure the date with Bill Miller's till we get your schedule. So.
So once again, Ellen Carucci, Director of Development over at the Orchard House Medical Day Center. It's been an absolute pleasure. Again, like I said, I've seen you around, but never had the pleasure of having a direct conversation with you. And thanks for all you do.
Oh,
I
thank
can tell you have a
you.
real passion for what you do.
It's a labor of love.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great. And Sean, it's always great to see you.
Good to see you,
Thanks
Johnny.
for all you do in the town. So on behalf of Guilford Cable TV, I'm John Cadillac Seville from iHeartRadio. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in, and have yourself a great rest of your night, or day, whatever that may be.